What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of The Honor Tattoo.
The Honor?
What the fuck am I doing?
Oh, honored.
That's when you know you had too much whiskey. Hey, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Honest Tattooer podcast, brought to you by Tattoo Smart. My name is John Mesa, and I'm joined by my co-host, Matt Triano.
Hey, how you doing?
Our homie, G Money.
What's up, guys?
And we have two very special guests this week. And I got to say, these guys inspired my tattoo career early on and still to this day. And I think you guys should all know them. So going towards the right, let people know your name, where you're from, how long you've been tattooing, and what kind of tattoos do you do?
My name's Gunnar. I've been tattooing 28 years this month. And I started tattooing in Connecticut. I'm currently like a gypsy. I'm just doing conventions mostly and guest spots and shit. I'm on the road. And what was the last question? Because that was a lot.
And what kind of tattoos do you do?
Oh, well, it was new school. I don't know what the fuck it would be now.
It's old school, new school.
It's yeah, and then I'm always trying to, like, it's evolution. You know, you're trying to evolve. Like, well, we'll talk about that new school evolution thing. But just tattoos. I do fucking art, man. I make storytelling pictures. That's what we do.
That's a good way to put it.
Cool. I make storytelling pictures.
Perfect.
And next up.
And me, yeah. So I'm Russ Abbott. I am from Ink and Dagger Tattoo in Roswell, Georgia. I am the owner and the founder of Tattoo Smart, and I've been tattooing for 26 years, roughly. I do large-scale ornamental and geometric tattoos. Sometimes I do illustrative tattoos, but they're always big. Everything I do is a sleeve or bigger.
Big size.
Yeah.
I want to talk to Gunnar because I love Keep It Sacred, man.
Oh, thank you very much, man.
I think it's great. I've talked about it before on the podcast, and I've
thank you.
turned people onto it, and I hope that more people have been tuned to it because I thought it was like a great place for good conversations to happen in a little bit more of a closed way because you have that set as a private page,
Yeah.
which I think that's great.
Yeah, Russ and I he's making those videos today, and I had done an educational seminar this weekend too, and I'm big on the idea that there's like stuff for us and there's stuff for the world. And a lot of people put our shit into the world.
Yeah.
Like you see it all, like every time I get on Threads and I'm like seeing like all these people bitch about fucking this type of tattoo. I'm like, dude, you are putting family drama into the world. And then they're looking at our community like a bunch of dysfunctional fucking broken humans that can't get along or support each other, or back each other up. And it's like, it's fucking toxic as hell to me.
Yeah.
So I was like, if we're going to have those conversations, those should be private conversations. They should be within the community. Mm-hmm. That's it. And so I wanted to create a place that was like, let's have those talks. Let's have those important deep dives where we can feel like the rest of the world doesn't need to know about, like, it's like, dude, watching these fucking people that make shit about bashing clients or bashing other people's styles or bashing people's pricing systems or bashing, like, it's like, fuck, man, the world doesn't need to know that. That's none of their goddamn business.
Yeah.
Our community needs to hold that shit sacred within ourselves. We hash out our shit. Like, I'm big on this idea. Like, if we could get together and form a fucking goal of what we wanted tattooing to be for all of us, where everybody felt like they had a place in it, we were supportive of each other, like, it would be a whole different world. Because right now you've got fucking the government stepping in that's going to fucking try and take away pigments from us, but we can't get our shit together to even fucking try and stop it. Yeah. You've got corporations coming in, buying up all our goddamn companies and then jacking up all the prices. So now a fucking stupid pen that they CNC manufacture in a fucking country for $12, they're selling to you guys for $1,200, and we're all sucking it up like it's our fucking, like, man, we're so worthy of this $1,200 machine. I can't wait to put my fucking banner up that says these people sponsored me and gave me a fucking overpriced piece of equipment. And instead of us getting together and being like, fuck, this is dumb, like, we're being taken advantage of by these fucking people, we're over here being like, dude, I fucking hate fine line tattoos, or I hate this fucking thing. And I can't, like, it drives me fucking batty because it's missing the point. It's like watching the political system. I don't give a fuck what, like, I don't want to be a dick, but I don't care what P. Diddy's doing right now. Like, the world is on fucking fire.
Yeah.
And you're worried about, like, some fucking, like, whatever dumb shit that they're trying to sell you right now. That's what's happening in tattooing to me. Yeah. Like, you're having these stupid fucking conversations that are kind of menial. Like, dude, the Otzi, the fucking Iceman, had fucking pinprick tattoos, and they're fucking 3,000 years old. And you know what? They don't affect my life at all.
At all.
I do not give a fuck. Those people are not a part of my community. Those people that collect that shit aren't my community.
Yeah.
Like, they're not. Like, my collectors will never get that ever. And those people would never get tattooed without that. Like they just wouldn't. So why does that matter? I'll be supportive of that, and then I'll cover those up. Those are easy to cover up. It's not like covering up a tribal arm sleeve, you know? It's like just dumb stuff. But instead, like, we're like, dude, right now we have like, what, 8-10 people in this fucking room that are all getting along. We all come from different backgrounds. We all have different styles. Like, we all have different histories. I've been doing this 30 years. Some of you guys might be doing this 5 years. We all can get along because our commonality, our community is tattooing.
Yeah.
Like, that is it. We are tattooers, and we love tattooing. And maybe you love tattooing for the art. Maybe you love tattooing for the money. I don't give a fuck. Like, we love tattooing, and we're making a decent living off of it. And yeah, there's leeches, but the only way to get the leeches to stop is if the fucking people that do love it get together and are like, we got to stop letting leeches in. Like, you need gatekeeping to some extent, but you can only have that if you have a community that gets along and decides, like, this is where the line is, and you can be a part of that, or you cannot. Like, I don't know. That's my rant on that, but sorry.
No, that was
Like,
beautiful. That was beautifully put, man. I feel like the stage of tattooing where it was at when I fell in love with it is very far, far, far from what it is now.
Yeah.
I had a conversation this past weekend with John Nelson, actually. He asked me what would be one thing that you would like to see to change, you know, in tattooing. And I'm like, I would love for tattooing to feel less like industry and more like community, and where people feel a little bit more together about things. And he's like, well, how do you think that that's possible? And I said, well, it has to come from the people that are the top of the industry, because that's who people get inspired by that start tattooing. They look at the people up top and they're like, oh, I want to be like that. Yeah. There's still a lot of people that, like, you know, safeguard tattooing and really love it, you know, and they're still passing on their traditions and their love for it in a very slow and private way. Yeah. And they don't care what the general, like, you know, scene of tattooing is going like. They're like, I don't really care. And they're very quiet and silent on how they keep these things. And because of its moving in that direction, the people that have the largest voices are, you know, spreading a different, you know, kind of idea. And I think that it's a lot more the difference between like a career and a craft, you know, like I never thought of like a tattoo, being a tattooer would be like, oh, it's my tattoo career. Like, I go to school and I earn it. No, it's like, oh, I'm like, this is what I'm choosing for my life. I'm probably going to do this day in and day out every day. And it's something that I do when I get home, and my family has to live around it. It's not like a job where you just turn it off once you get back to your house. And it's like, no, it's like I'm part of something, and it's much bigger.
This is like, dude, I've been doing this like almost 30 years, 3 decades now. And I came up like during the period that was like the transitioning from the like real traditional part of tattooing. What was like the more brutal, like some of the stuff I've witnessed was pretty brutal. Like, but I was a new school kid. I was like a fucking suburban kid coming into a shop where, like, you know, it was like a little bit of, I mean, I was a hardcore kid, so I had like a little bit of edge. I think Guy Atchison said it best when he was like, him and I were having a conversation, and he kind of made this point where he was like, we were like punk rock, skateboard, like graffiti culture kids. Like, so we were kind of on the fringes of society already. So we could take the punches to bridge the gap to these kids that can't take the punches. Like, we were this gateway. We're the bridge that opened up this place for them. The irony that they look at me and like have disdain because of my age, not realizing how many doors have been opened from my generation of tattooers, is wild to me. It's just because I also came from a place of respect. Like, you respected the people that came before you, because without them, like, you were standing on the shoulders of giants, right? So without them, none of us would even be here today. Like, and that's truth. Like, you know, if those guys didn't exist, none of us would be making the livings we're making off. You wouldn't get to do those, like, all these people with these careers of all these like offshoots of tattooing, or all these like neo-trad or whatever they're doing. None of this stuff would exist without these like shitty shops where dudes were getting fucking hammered in the face with a, you know, or whatever it was, like some bit of brutality. Those guys had to do that stuff. They had to have people come in, people like, you know, whatever the next generation. Then you had like our generation, like, or the kind of the kids before me, like the Grimes and the Marcus Pacheco's, that were like blowing up art all of a sudden. And those guys had to exist. And then people like me had to take that and then turn it into my thing, and then come in and decide to teach the next level of kids. And then the next level of kids are like coming up and teaching the next level. Like, all of that has to take place. There has to be this like this pathway, like we're building a bridge for each other.
Yes.
Like that's it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like what I've realized my role is as I'm becoming an aging tattooer is I know about the history, but I also was a new school kid who was getting told that everything I was going to do was a fucking failure, that I was like a fuck up, that I was ruined. I was in the position these young kids were in because we were trying to, new school to me, the reason why it was called that was because it was bringing in new things from new ideas from outside of tattooing that had never been done. Like if you look at tattooing almost like a fractal spiral, like it's like growing, constantly growing, right? And that's why we have new styles that are continually expanding. I came in when there was like 3 styles. It was like tribal, black and gray, and traditional, and it was starting to spiral out. And it's starting to spiral out. And even black and gray only kind of came around in the 70s. Like it's not that old, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you had like 1 style in America, basically. And then that turned into like 2 styles, which turned into 3 styles, which turned into 4 styles and 5 and 6 and so on, right? It was constantly spiraling out. And that's where we are. We're on the spiral out. And it's going to continue to grow because that's what things do. Like, look at food in America. Like you had steak and potatoes and fucking cornbread or whatever the fuck you had. And now you can go anywhere in this city and you can get like fusion, a million different fusion meals or whatever. Like or music, like there was like rock and roll, and now there's like rock and roll hip hop and Western hip hop. And, it's like everything is growing. And so you have these people that are like, oh, I'm so progressive, but then they're so mad at the progression.
Yeah.
Like people from your generation of tattooing are like, man, I can't stand where it's going. Well, fuck, dude, you wanted it to kind of be that. Like I wanted it to grow when I was a kid.
Yeah.
We opened up the doors. We were the people who gave you kids the education because nobody was giving it to us back then. Like when I first started tattooing, nobody was giving us information. We were like searching for it together. And I was tattooing, like we would tattoo like noon till midnight. And then we would tattoo each other from midnight till 5 in the morning, just trying to figure shit out because nobody was telling us what to do.
Yeah.
Like they gave us foundational tools and we were trying to figure out how do I make it do the thing I want it to do? And now it's open education. It's open format. But it wasn't without like someone like Guy Atchison who opened the door for like the seminars and the educational and putting out the book that he put out. None of this stuff would have even like happened, So they were bridging these gaps for us and they were opening up these doors of education. And now the doors have been kicked wide fuck open. And now people are like, whoa, we should have fucking closed the doors. But you did, it's already done. The damage is done. We cannot put that shit back. So now we either have to accept it and direct it, or accept it and sit back and do nothing about it but fucking be bummed. And that to me is almost like, I have like a traditional new school mind. So my idea is like, I have a foot in tradition. You respect your elders. You respect where you come from. You respect the roots of this community. You respect the laws of what works in tattooing, what doesn't work, like you do this. But at the same time, you have to be innovative. You have to teach. You have to educate other people. You have to have a foot in the past and in the future. Like that's where I stand in this. And that's super important for us to all kind of come to terms on. And then it becomes like I said, like, how do we guide that? How do we guide the youth? Because like, I'm big on the idea, like I'm a teacher, right? You're a teacher. You guys got podcasts, you're teachers and you're exposing teachers, other people to talk about these ideas. If we could get the message on the same plane. So you're saying kind of, like, hey, we kind of agree on this. And then we agree. And it becomes like, I teach this thing in my seminar that is like a little statement that I think kind of, if it echoes, it probably is a true. Like if you're hearing it more than once by multiple people, it's like reiterating this idea that like, there's probably some truth in that. Like probably more so than some, like if you see a bunch of people have difference of ideas, there's probably a little bit more freedom to kind of figure out that for yourself, And we all kind of have to figure it out for ourselves. No, my children never listened to me growing up. They always like had to kind of fail on their own. Like that's part of life.
Honest Tattooer is brought to you by Tattoo Smart. They offer digital design tools for the professional tattooer, helping you save time and make your clients happy. Make sure to check out some of their best sellers, the Spit Shade set, the Needle set, advanced 3D body parts, and one of my personal favorites, the Snake Kit. With a vast collection of ready-to-use Procreate flash stamps in a range of styles, including neo-traditional, ornamental, illustrative, Japanese, floral, and more. Listeners can use code HONEST20 at checkout to save 20% on any Tattoo Smart order. The social media aspect of things changed a lot in tattooing.
Yes.
Some for the good, some for the bad, you know, but I think that like we're at a point right now in tattooing where like, you know, there's a lot more of like this, what we're doing now.
Yes.
Of just having a little bit of discord from multiple generations of tattooing and sharing our experiences. And I think like one thing that I thought was lost a lot was the looking towards your elders, you know, and looking to the respect of the people that have done it before you and what's worked and was not worked. Now I feel like somebody who is a new tattooer can just equate their success based on either how much they're charging for their tattoos or how many followers they have, you know? Yeah. And some of my favorite tattooers, they don't necessarily have big followings at all.
Yeah.
They constantly tattooing and they are very highly respected tattooers, but that's not the most important thing in their kind of wheelbase of what they're doing on their daily life. They're just concerned about doing high quality tattoos and pushing their craft further and moving their tattoos further.
Yeah.
And it's nice to have like a moment in tattooing where I feel like we're kind of going back to kind of listening to each other and not just like hating on each other from a distance. Let's just talk and see where we're all at. Mm-hmm. And I want to turn this now to Russ. You created one DVD that really affected me, and it was illustrated tattooing. And that DVD was like one of those moments in my tattoo. That was like one of those aha moments, you know? And at that moment, I think I've been tattooing maybe for like 6 or 7 years when that came out.
I never saw that. Was there a train tattoo on that?
Yes.
Cover? Yeah, it was, right?
Oh, yeah, I've seen, Then I remember that now.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what year that was, but can you guess based on how long you were tattooing?
Oh, man. I feel like
2008, maybe?
Maybe 10.
Yeah.
Maybe 10.
It was 2010.
Yeah, 2010.
Okay. Yeah. So, well, thank you. I always love hearing stuff like that, right? Because at the time, it was really, really scary to put that out. Just for the same reasons that Gunnar was just saying, you know, Guy Ichasing is someone that we all look up to. Mm-hmm. And we know that he got a lot of shit when he started teaching. Right. You know, the whole idea of teaching a seminar at a tattoo convention would raise a lot of eyebrows back then, apparently. Mm-hmm. And, you know, so when I made a DVD, I was one of the first artists willing to take that risk, you know, and, you know, I will never know what doors didn't open for me because I did that, but I definitely had the feeling that there was a risk in doing it, but I felt really strongly that I should because it wasn't there for me. Right. Yeah. And so that idea has driven me, you know, up until today. So it's always wonderful to hear, you know, full circle that, you know, someone I look up to and respect got something out of that.
Yeah, man. I mean, like sitting here with you guys is kind of like a big moment. I'm like, holy shit, dude. Like,
I think that's why education was so important. Like why that was like, because when you fought for it so hard, like, could you imagine what we could have accomplished if we had the tools
early on?
Yeah. Like what could have been done back then? And
we didn't have the machines,
that was almost,
right?
Yeah.
We had coil machines, so we're always fighting against our tools, which, you know, that was a whole other struggle. We had to make needles.
Yeah.
We had to, you know, there were a lot of things that we had to do that artists just don't have to do now, you know?
Yes.
And there's a lot of opportunities that people have that are, you know, completely free, you know, watching videos on Instagram or YouTube or wherever they're going to just see great tattooing techniques being applied. We didn't have that.
Yeah.
Right.
If you could start over again right now with all the utilities and the technology that's available now, would you want to do it the way that the kids are doing it now? Or would you say that you think that the way that you did it was better off?
That's a hard one. Cause one, I think it's like what, you know, like we grew up in, like I was a skateboarder. So I grew up in what would have been the Bones Brigade era of tattooing. Like I grew up in the era of like what would be like the Renaissance of, you know, it was like the golden era, I guess. Mm-hmm. So what I love about the period that I came, like for me personally, is I love innovation. And and I love creativity. I love human creativity. I fucking hate. I'm not a fan of all this AI ripoff nonsense because it's not a human. Like, to me, the humans are becoming the AI. Like, they're essentially stealing. They're plagiarisms. It's plagiarism, and they're not putting out themselves anymore. Like, I want to know who you are. Like, I don't like. Cool, you're good at technique. That's cool, but are you good at like imagination? Are you good at like? Do you have a voice? Do you even have a voice? Like, because you're not putting that out into the world at all.
It seems like imagination is taking a back seat in popular tattooing.
To popular tattooing, yeah.
Agreed.
And so a lot. And so I came up in a period where like everybody, the only way to stand out was to stand the fuck out. Like, this is who I am. Look at me, you know? And it was like you were trying to hold up a sign of like, look at who I am, you know, as an artist. This is my voice. And that's art. That's what art is. Like, everything else is replication. Like, you're just repeating and regurgitating other people's ideas. So it's not that not, you know, like traditional has always been that. We knew it was a foundation of kind of a reusing of symbolism, a lot of symbolism. So it's like the skulls, the hearts, you know, whatever. It's a lot of symbolism. And there's a very particular formula to it. It's like Japanese tattooing. Those two were formulaic. And I think that's what neo-traditional is to some extent. It's very formulaic. It's a girl's face. It's flowers. It's floral design and stuff. So there's a language to it that needs to be spoken for that to get out. So how do you stand out when you're speaking, you know, when you only have 3 words? Or, you know, like if you think of symbolism or imagery as words, if you have such a limited vocabulary, how do you say anything new with that? You know, the only way to do that is to bring new words into your vocabulary, right? With creative, like more creative arts, which is kind of like what realism was heading towards or that stuff, they have a broader spectrum of language. Like black and gray realism has it's everything from like a grizzly bear to cholo girl face to, you know, there's like a huge language, and it can be cultural. So like if you're like a, you know, dude who hunts, you get like a rifle and a fucking bear and a fish and a whatever, and that's like that style speaks to you. And if you're like growing up in East LA, then you're going to have a different language because it speaks to your community and those words are being spoken for you, and that's cool. But if you're like a creative artist, which a lot of like there's people who want to be that, but they're not being that because they're so afraid that they're not going to get noticed if they don't do what's hitting, that they're not even trying. Like,
it sounds like,
I'm saying? Like,
it sounds like popular music nowadays.
Yes,
you know,
it's popular music.
Like
we know it sells,
nowadays.
so I want to sell. I'm so afraid. Like Russ and I have this conversation all the time. I will always probably be a broke artist because all I want to do is sing my song. So I'm always going to be the dude with I'm not going to do some karaoke like stuff that's like popular culture shit. I'm going to do my thing, and I'm going to hope I find the audience that likes what I do. And it is limiting at times because people want to attach themselves to what's hip. So that's the like difference between being an artist and the career aspect. Like if you want to make money, you have to do what's working, right?
Yeah.
So I do that. Like if you go on my stuff, you're going to see me do black and gray stuff. You're going to see, because I'm going to placate the business aspect of my tattooing and make a living so that I can make my art. Like I have to have 2 things. I have to have my art and I have to have, but it allows me to be me.
Yeah.
By doing that. Until like, back when, you know, like the new school thing or the style I was doing, that was like really hitting. I just happened to hit at the right time. So at the time I was able to just live off of that thing. Like I was able to coast on that, and that was enough, you know, but I had to swear. Sometimes you have to like go through ugly phases in order to grow. Like you're going to like, it's like watching a toddler walk. Sometimes it's going to fucking fall in order to walk. And so if you want to create anything new, you got to go through an ugly phase. You have to be not afraid to look ugly to the public.
Yeah.
And I'm not afraid. I don't care. They can't do anything. There's nothing they can do to me to stop me from being me.
Keep experimenting.
I'm going to keep experimenting.
Trying,
and then one day it hits or it doesn't.
Yeah.
Like, that's it.
Tattoo armor is literally the best way to wrap your client. I've been using it. Matt's been using it, and it's just awesome. There's no mess, there's no glue, and it's just super comfortable. I hope you can try it for yourself, and just go on to Tattoo Armor and use the code Honest Tattooer for 20% off your order.
if people live in that fear, you know, and there's people like I live alone. I'm a fucking wanderer. I'm a hermit. Like I don't, you know, I can afford that lifestyle. So I understand the difference.
Yeah.
Like it's not like a place of luxury. I definitely like, there's a struggle to it. But I took on that. Like, so to me, it becomes like, I always talk about like the idea of like, you place your energy where your values are. Like, so if you value money, your whole like approach is going to probably be way different than I value art and creativity and imagination more so than I value money. Like, so I've accepted the terms of that condition. Like, so, and it's not that I, you know, like I can challenge that, of course. Then I hang out with people who help me like, hey, dude, there's better aspects to your business that we can approach differently because you don't have that tool set yet. Like, you know, like I grew up a poor fucking white trash kid. Like I don't have the tool set to know what money even looks like. I just never had that. So, and it was funny. I think you and I were talking about the difference between the youth today and my culture is these are Gary Vee kids. Like they grew up with people telling them hustle, grind, make fucking money, put out a product, do this shit. Like, I didn't have that. I had like, good luck, fucker.
Yeah, figure it out.
Figure it out. Like,
yeah, you're out there in the wild world.
There was no role models. Like my fucking family was poor. It was like I didn't have any role models for like what that like looked like. They just were working class people, you know. So that's what I was. I was a working class guy who got to make fucking pictures for work, which was super cool. And I had a college education. I skipped a fucking 6-figure job back in the 90s to do this. So like I chose my path and I like was like, fuck it. Like I'm digging in. Like, cause I loved it. I love it so goddamn much. I like at 50 years old, I'm still fucking invigorated like a 22-year-old. And all I want to do is just make cool shit with cool people.
How do you stay that way? How do you stay that way? Cause like, I feel like, I mean, me and Matt had a conversation the other day. I forget who we were talking about and, or who we were talking to. And you mentioned, you're like, I was at a point in my career where I was like, I think this was over the convention. We're like, I don't know if I wanted to keep doing this, you know, but then you got reinvigorated. You remember you were talking about this with
I don't
somebody.
know. I forgot who.
I think you were talking with the guy that was across from us at the convention. He said like, I've been doing this for 20 years and this is all I know how to do.
Yes. I don't remember his name.
I don't remember his name,
Tim?
but like
Maybe. I don't know.
But like,
Paul?
I don't know. We can just keep guessing names.
John, Paul. Okay, George.
Keep naming Beatle names.
He listens to the show, dude. I'm sorry.
I know. It was like, but that was one of those things where you're like, I was at this point where I was like, kind of like, you know, but I feel like that's normal.
To burn out?
To feel those moments where you start feeling like, you know, you lose a little bit of excitement and you don't have that. And then you have to be responsible to do something to get yourself and keep yourself reignited and excited about what you're doing. And then those are the moments where you might have to learn to take chances. And you're like what you're saying, you're like, you might have to do something that is not the hit song yet, but it's like you're going to work through it.
Yeah. So I went through a period where I was like at the top of my career, like maybe wouldn't have been the top. It was the top I chose in like 2015. You know, I was doing like, had all the sponsorships and was like at the conventions and was really having this like really like grandiose success for a minute. And well, not for a minute, had already like started in 2000. So it was like, but it just was still climbing. Like, you know, I'd gone through like a really bad relationship thing where I like lost a bunch of people I loved real fast, like overnight. And so it like kind of fucked me up. So I was like, I'm taking 6 months off. I'm moving into my Jeep. I sold everything I owned. I got into my Jeep. I drove cross country for like 6 months, just like sleeping in the BLM land and going to campsites. I moved out to California for like 3 months or month or something like that.
Wrangler?
Yeah.
Just making sure.
Dude, yeah. And the like, I'm short. I'm a little guy, you know? And so I hung a fucking hammock corner to corner and I would just pull off on the side of the road and fucking sleep. And I just like wanted to like live off of nothing. Like, what does that feel like to like put yourself in a position where you require so little out of life that everything else feels grand, which is, I think, why like I'm in a place sometimes where I'm like, dude, everything's fucking awesome. You know, like I don't like people have like, if you require $1 million house and $1 million car and $1 million lifestyle, like one, your risk to like, there's a lot of risk in that of losing, you know, like what's that look like if you lose it? Like I know I could, like, when all these people are upset about like a slow economy, I'm like, fuck it, dude, I know what that, I could do this. Like, this is a fucking, I could do this. Like, this is a cakewalk. So I don't have that like fear that other people have or whatever. Right. Because of that, like, I was like, I'm going to choose what that looks like, because right now a bunch of people in North Carolina just lost fucking everything. What's that look like when you lose it, when the world comes along and just takes it from you, whether you like it or not? Yeah. Like, I did that voluntarily. Like, what's that look like when you just give up everything just to see, you know, to see stuff? But it put me in a whole different mindset of like how I view the world and how much like people require from the world. And so a lot of people just are taking constantly, like, rather than giving. But I got out there, and then I was like, I didn't want to do, like, I was so like, I didn't like it was when the TV shows were all fucking hot, and all of a sudden I was showing up at conventions. Like, I came from like, when you're like, dude, tattooing's changed a lot since I fucking, you know, like, fuck, dude, imagine what I've, you know, like,
yeah, you've seen a lot.
So all of a sudden it's like, I show up to a convention and it's like 6 booths of a fucking sponsorship fucking company with fucking all these like people, and I'm like, well, dude, the people no longer matter. This is just their big banner for a fucking some tattoo company. And then the fucking TV show people with all their fucking banners, and they don't even have to be good. They just have to have like seen on season whatever. And so that was all changing. The sponsorship shit was changing. So you were watching people who didn't deserve to be sponsored just so these companies could get the shit in the hands of people. And I just reached the point where I was like, I don't know this world of tattooing at all. I don't know where my place is in it. I don't know where I fit in this. I don't love anything I'm watching right now. I don't love it. So I'm going to walk away. Maybe I'm no longer a part of this community. And that's how I felt. Like, I was like, I'm not a part of this community. This isn't my world. And so I walked the fuck away. I just walked away. I took 6 months off from tattooing. Mm-hmm. And then I went out to California. I hung out with my friend Brett Herman, who I fucking love to death. And then I was like, dude, I don't want to stay in California. This place feels fake as fuck to me. Like, I had lived there for like 3 years and loved it as a kid, and then came back after that trip and was like, I can't do this shit. Like, so I had a friend who was building out a street shop in Boston, and he was like, dude, I got a street shop in Boston, and if you want a place to stay, you could just go work out there or whatever. I'll take care of you. So my friend was like super nice, took super good care of me, like helped me out, you know, like just gave me a place to, you know, be and fucking just disappear from the world a little and just make tattoos. And I just did fucking street shop tattoos. And I realized I fucking hate street shop tattoos. I fucking hate it. I hated it so much because I couldn't, like, I wasn't able to express my art at all. Yeah. Because they did not give a fuck about that. They, you know, like, I understood. I put myself in these situations too because I'm like a big person. I fully believe in the idea, if you're going to be a teacher, you got to be a student. Like, when, you know, I have like some mental health stuff like depression and shit. I get like depressive cycles. So I have to like sometimes talk to someone about that. I've like gone to see a therapist, and if they've never been through the shit, like if they haven't been through any hardship at all, you're not my person. Yeah. The only way to be relatable to me is if you've like been in the fucking dirt. Like, you've got to have fucking danced with pigs for a minute to like, for me to know who you are. So when I do that shit, like, I can talk. Like, you know, I had heard this thing. I think, I can't remember if it was like, I forget who said it. It was like a good friend of mine, another awesome tattooer, but it was like, Friday student should teach Monday's class. Like, and so I was doing these explorer events, and you'd show up, and these people are so far advanced from the like 2-year tattooers that they're like trying to sell them fucking, dude, this is how you do a back piece, and you're going to get like all this fucking money to do these back pieces, and, you know, talk them out of the Pinterest tattoos and into this piece. And I was like, dude, I just sat in fucking street shops, and I'm going to tell you how little that fucking advice
it's gonna actually work. Yeah.
Does not work. You are marketing to the wrong audience. This is not your audience. These kids are not your fucking audience. Yeah. And you don't even know your audience anymore. It's like when we make fun of clients, and it's like, dude, it's their first time in the shop. You've been in the shop fucking every day for the last 10 years. Yeah. Like, this is all brand new to them, you know, but we get so fucking far removed from like, you know, Jade, it's not, I don't know what it is. It's like ignorant. It's almost ignorance with no hindsight. It's like, we forget what it's like to be there. Well, you got to go back. You either got to go back there, which is what I chose to do. I'm going to go back there. I'm going to go live that life. And then I realized, like, I don't love this life, so I'm going to chase the life I kind of love. I want to make art. I built the life I love. I travel. I'm here with a bunch of fucking friends, sharing beers and conversation. We're talking fucking tattooing. I'm going to get to write this off as a business trip, right? Like that's fucking pretty sweet. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like I built a lifestyle where my job allows me to be around the people I love, to make the type of art I love, you know, like, and I just love doing tattoos. So like when people are like, oh, you're not doing your style, I'm like, no, man, I'm giving that fucking person that maybe couldn't get a pretty cool piece from like an artist with a name.
Yeah.
And I get to practice a new skill set I don't have.
Yeah.
Like, I love all of that. So that's like when you're like, where does the passion come from? That's the fucking passion. You have different fucking things that you want out of life. I have very like easy things to get. Friends, and maybe they're not easy to get, but you know, like it's like, you know, I've got this community, this family. I like to think about that at this convention. I'm like around my family, because the tattoo community, I grew up like a latchkey kid. So I didn't have like family around. I moved out of my house at like 18 and, you know, didn't go back much. And then I had kids, but this is my family. Like I was hanging out with Clean Rock One and Kevin Stareye, and I'm like, dude, we have 25 years of history together.
Yeah.
Like that's fucking wild to me, you know? So it's like things like that. You're like, if you love it enough, you come back and you're like, you know, I don't need to, you know, kiss the ass of people that are like, oh, that person's popular. I don't give a fuck. Like,
Yeah.
Are you cool? No, cool. I'm out. Like,
I'm out.
We're good.
Yeah.
We're good. Like, you know, that's all. So
Agree.
that's how I stay, you know, like I built a life I love. That's all.
That's
Like,
all.
That's all. So
I love that.
Yeah.
Hey man, like I'm very grateful to be a tattoo artist, and most of all, I'm grateful to be working with you guys.
Hell yeah.
Because you guys make it awesome to show up to work, you know?
Yeah.
And like, you know, I always say it's like, it's crazy, right? Like we all know each other before we have any children or any of that shit. And we've seen our
Yeah.
lives like
Yeah.
change and morph and be. And I feel like that's one of the things that I'm like, oh man, it's pretty rad. Like this is my life, and these are my coworkers, and it's
I'll tell
Dude,
you what.
you're fucking sitting on couches together at
Right.
midnight
Yeah,
and
dude.
like,
Time flew.
it's
Time
fucking
flew.
awesome. Like,
yeah.
Time flew.
Yeah.
Time flew.
being
It
in a
get- it
shop
gets-
with people you
it
don't
gets
like
faster.
sucks too.
Yeah, I'm sure.
What's that?
I said being in a shop with people that you don't get along with. There were 2 times in my career
Yeah.
that I was like, man, this fucking sucks. I don't want to do this anymore. And one of them was because I was working in a shop that the dudes there were just shitty people. They treated their clients right. I didn't want to be I didn't want to have anything to do with them. And I would come to the shop, and sometimes there would just be like me and one other guy. And if it was a day that was quiet and we weren't tattooing, it was just me and him at that shop, there was not one word spoken the entire day.
Yeah.
And it just sucked, man. I was
That
like, this
sucks.
blows, bro. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to do this anymore.
That was another reason when I went to California, my friend had owned the shop, and it was 3 guys who owned it. It was kind of like, you know, if you guys it was just you guys, and that was it, right? And in the journey, in that 6 months period, I was going out there to originally work, and they had hired like 6 other. They were like, dude, we're gonna build out a shop and make some money off of this and turn it into like more of a business thing. And I was like, dude, I'm not coming. And they're like, what do you mean you're not coming? I'm like, too many fucking personalities, bro. Like tattoo personality, it's a lot. That's a lot. I don't know these fucking kids. Like I know your guys' vibe together, but you're bringing in a lot of new vibes. And I got out there, and it was just like that. Too many vibes. And it broke up like a fucking marriage because there were too many personalities. Like I left immediately. Like I was like, I don't want to be here.
Like,
Like
not
I
for me.
do this.
You
Yeah,
already- you already
I
saw
stayed there
destruction
long
coming.
enough, and I was like, yeah. I was like, dude, I'm gonna tell you right now, it's all gonna fall apart. And it did. Like it wasn't long after I left that it all like collapsed. Like because everybody started having different ideas of what they wanted out of it instead of like a collective vision.
Yeah.
What you're watching in tattooing. There's no collective visions. Too many people like with their own thing that they want out of this. So.
After I got the chance to sit down with Matt and John on the Honest Tattooer podcast, the Force of Focus got amazing feedback when it comes to the Hello to Healed process, networking strategies, and most of all, creating your own personal brand and culture. So I want to give you the opportunity to take 15% off by coming to join the Force of Focus arena. Now, this is a community of high-achieving tattoo artists who are all here for one reason: to be around like-minded individuals who all want to grow not only in our personal lives, but within our businesses. We're going to walk with you side by side to build out every system you could ever imagine to not only ensure the fact you're on the right path, but how to be able to see your dream life and then achieve it. Now, I have a laundry list of artists who have been able to achieve their dreams, and if you're ready to do the same, click the link below and let's get a conversation going.
You mentioned like this big conferences. I'm not a fan of the big I haven't attended one, so I'll say this.
Yeah, you should.
I haven't attended one of the big conferences, but
Are we talking educational conferences or
Yes.
conventions?
We're talking about education, like solely educational conferences.
You're doing it this weekend.
You're going to one this weekend.
But I'm going to one this weekend
Okay.
because I was like, I have to try this out, and I'm gonna take seminars,
Yes.
and I'm gonna do that because I need to experience this side of things because I haven't done this.
sell out.
I gotta do it.
sell
man.
out.
I gotta do it, and I'm gonna take seminars from people that like I've been a fan of for a very long time, and I respect them as tattooers, and I want to see.
I just
what they have to
took
rate.
Bobby
Share.
Johnson's fucking seminar that he
Oh,
did
shit.
there. Like
Cool.
I was
That's
like,
awesome.
and you know, people are like, dude, that's not even stuff. I'm like, yeah, but I don't know what tools he might offer that. And he did. He like dropped some knowledge, and I was like, fucking taking that shit, and I'm taking that, and I'm taking that. We'll see.
Thanks for that.
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
Done. Shout out
So,
Bobby. You know?
Yeah.
So I'm excited, and but
it's a
like,
totally different vibe, John.
Yeah.
totally
you know.
different vibe.
It's almost better than a
It might be the
convention.
same people,
yeah.
but the vibe is different from
Yeah.
a convention.
So
Yeah.
one thing was like
It's awesome.
for one of the seminars that I'm taking, it's limited to 15 people.
Yeah.
The other one, it has no limit. But one of them is limited to 15 people. And part of that, I fucking love that.
Which one is it?
Cooper.
Yep.
Oh,
so
yeah,
Cooper's,
yes.
Cooper's is going to be incredible.
Yeah.
So I'm
It's limited to 15 people because they're all going to be working on practicing this one black and gray technique. So he's like
Yeah,
an
that's-
absolute master at smooth, large fields of black and
That's
gray.
why I want to take it because I've always
And
been like
you're gonna
blown
unlock that
away.
secret,
I've always
I
been like, every time I see one of his tattoos, I'm like, how the fuck is this happening? dude?
Yeah, I think there's a difference between like application seminars and like workshops. Those are more like workshops and lecture seminars. So I do like more like a, you know, like I try to keep it interactive and like questions and stuff, but it's very much like, here's the information I would like you guys to have. And it's like bullet points, more lecture style. So there's room for like more audience.
Yes.
Whereas like when you're doing something where it's like a bunch of people and you need to look over the shoulder as a teacher, like it's a different thing.
And that's
right?
that's what I've always thought that. I'm like, how could you be like, you know, sharing all this information that's probably very advanced,
Yeah.
you know, and if you can't gauge or have that interaction with the person that you're giving the seminar to, it's just be like, oh, well, this one person needs a little bit more coaching or,
Yes.
or, you know, based on where they're at opposed to somebody else. And like, you know, the one for Cooper's, you know, he had something on there saying like you should have at least 5 years minimum of like, this experience, which I think is good. But like, do most, you know, of these large conferences have like these like kind of
I think it's like shotgun spray. Like I'm gonna just and see who it hits. Like because like the seminar,
Spread.
yeah. So the
Spread.
seminar I do is very much like all the way from apprentice to aging out of what that looks like. You know, because as I'm becoming like a aged tattoo artist, I want to talk to and in my seminar I had people that were apprentices and I had people that were 20 years in.
yeah.
The message is different to them. So I give so much information that as long as you leave in tattooing, it's like we make enough money at $150 to $300 an hour, whatever the fuck you're charging. If you leave with one tip, you already paid for the seminar.
For sure.
Like, so that's the beauty of educational seminars. Like if you leave with one thing, you're good. And
Yeah.
so there's a lot of like watching Bobby's, there were things that like would apply to what I do. There were things him and I grossly disagreed on. And then things where I was like, and then things I've heard myself say over and over again. I'm like, oh yeah, we got a lot of same shared opinions. And then things that I was like, that's brand new. And I've never seen that. And that's fucking awesome. That is the value of, that was the value, right?
Yeah.
So when, especially with the explorers and those, like I fucking love it because everybody's just there to learn. Even the teachers. Like the educators are literally there to sit. Like I think like people like me and most of the educators, you would probably agree, are there just to get on stage so that you can have the ability to sit in the crowd for free and watch that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, dude, I'll fucking show up for sure. You're gonna invite me out. I'll fucking take that plane trip just so I can sit in the fucking front row like a little kid with popcorn, just like
Just
fucking
learning.
listening to this shit. And you know the amount of like wisdom that's out there, the like knowledge. Some of it's like, you know, it's like flying over the heads of some people. And then other things are like, man, that is just sticking at a rate that's like awesome. Because then the next person comes up and says the exact same thing. And it's like, that drove it home for that person, you know, like, because I could say something and people are like, dude, I don't even like that fucking illustrative new school, weird, creepy kid shit. Like, okay, cool, you're never going to hear my message, but then I might have said it, and then someone's going to come up right behind me that you do admire, and they're going to say the same thing, and it's going to drive it home for them.
Yeah.
You know?
I had a conversation in here, and I said something about like, oh, and you made it a clip where I talked about in the Orlando convention that we went to, there were many people doing these giant 3-day pieces, you know? And overall, they were the majority, the majority looked rushed. You know, the majority looked rushed. And I think it's a matter of like when people see something, when they see somebody doing something and they're like, I want to attempt that and I want to fucking, you know, do that same thing. But, you know, and they went, maybe got a seminar and that was broken down to how to approach these big projects. So they're going to attempt them. And I'm like, oh man, but like some of people shouldn't be attempting these things. Like it's a little bit too much for their things. And you have to be responsible enough always as a tattooer since the very beginning, you know, to know of how much to take on. And that's, you know, if you're an apprentice, usually your mentor will tell you like, nah, man, that's not for you, man. Like really back, you know, stick to this and you're good. But as you progress, the responsibility is still on you to know if like, oh man, if I try to attempt that, I'm probably not going to give like my best product to somebody. That's the part of those conferences that I don't like, where some people attend them and they'll get that information and all of a sudden like they feel like they got that like, oh, I got certified to do this, you know? And
I don't know if I've ever witnessed that happening really. It's
well, not directly like that, but like more of like the idea of like, it gives them that confidence of like, I saw such and such person teach me these like secret amazing techniques. So I want to like go for it.
I want to flip it around a little bit.
Yeah.
I want you to imagine that you were going to teach a seminar on something.
Yes.
Something that you feel like you have enough expertise on to tell your peers about. What would that be? So
that's such a good question because I thought about this morning. I was like, what would I be able to tell? And all of the things that I would tell, they're not necessarily about technical things. They're more about my experience as a tattooer. And because I feel like that's where my value would probably be, where I wouldn't feel like I would have to have such hands-on on somebody to try to make sure that they're applying those things.
Would it be somehow a deeper level than what people hear on the podcast?
I'd have to sit down and like put it all together, but I feel like, yeah, it probably would be.
Right.
You know, but it would be something where it's more like from along what Gunnar was saying. It's like, you know, I'm going to give you my perspective and from my knowledge. And this, like through the years, this is what I've gathered. And these are the things that I did right. These are things that I did wrong, or the things that I would do differently to, you know, in
a
these
cautionary tale.
Yeah.
Right?
You know,
so
like,
much of Gunnar's seminar is that. Right?
Yeah.
Like it's like, hey, you know, I see the icebergs ahead.
Yeah.
Because I've already hit some of them.
Dude, the irony is I've been warning people of a lot of the stuff that's going on for years. And because I have enough like hindsight to have foresight. Like,
a lot of people don't.
This is ebb and flow, bro. It's coming. Like,
it's a pattern that repeats itself. For sure.
And so I've got enough hindsight. You know, it's funny because, you know, she would mention like, oh, change the name to hindsight. Yeah, that stuff like it, and an experience is huge because it also like allows. It's why the like seminars are good and why podcasts are good. Like it allows other people, like, you know, I talk about mental health a lot. You know, like you'll probably see it in the Hold It Sacred or whatever, because it's not openly talked about.
Yeah.
But when I talk about it, it allows people to like, by me expressing that vulnerability allows other people to feel like seen, like, oh, me too. That's what doing these seminars, you know, like, oh, he's had that same experience, you know, like you and I, we could all like tell the same story. I guarantee I could tell a story and you guys would be like, dude, fucking lived it. Like, and that's what it's shared experience, right? And so sometimes that's what those things come out like, oh, I'm not fucking alone in the world.
Yeah.
Like I thought that was just me. I thought I was the only one who didn't know how to do that thing or didn't have that fucking trick or, you know what I'm saying? Like, and the hard part with what you're saying is like, the teacher's job is to put out education. They can't control what the student does with the education. We've seen this happen. you can't control how the information is used once it's put into the world, right? You can't, if you put stuff into this podcast, you can't control how it's going to be interpreted, who's going to be offended by it, who's going to like love it, who will be pissed off. It's other people's perceptions and how they want to internalize it and how they're going to utilize it. And we watch, like, I really like the idea of, like, I'm really big into hermetic knowledge. Like, for some reason, I like all this secret society shit because our government and shit's all founded on that. And I'm like, I really want to know what's in the minds of these motherfuckers, you know, like that they all went to these places. So what do they study? So I study it. And then I'm like, then when you study it, they're like, this was meant to be used for good, but it can also be used for evil. Yeah. Like, and they'll say that all the time. Like, this thing could be good and it should have been good, but there's also a way to turn magic into black magic, right? Or whatever it is. Yeah. Like, that's how any education thing is. And so you could be telling someone who can take those tools and do a 3-day tattoo and do something fucking awesome like Deanna does. But is it for everybody? No. But you can't stop those kids from trying. And where the fuck would you be if you didn't try shit, right?
You have to try.
Like, where would we be if we didn't try shit and fail? Like, we have to. Because that's almost every day of tattooing, I think, is waking up going, wonder where I'm going to fuck up today. Oh, there's the photo of it. Yeah, there it is. That was the spot right there. The whole fucking thing. You know, like, have you ever like looked at some photos and been like, dude, I fucking hit every fucking thing perfect on that. Ever?
This weird weekend, we had like a young tattooer. He's like still in his first year, and he had us critique some pictures, and he had a few pictures on his portfolio where there were like matching tattoos, and each one I was like, this was the second one, huh? He was like, yeah. I'm like, that's why it's better. Yeah. It's like,
because he got that skill set. Yeah.
Oh, you did it one time. The second time around, it was like, that one was better. And he was like, yeah, absolutely. And I'm like, yeah, because that's happened every time I've ever
went
done.
To school
like,
on the first one.
The first one you learned.
Dude, I posted this thing and it was funny because it was really like everything on fucking, in the world, it's divisive, right? And I didn't think it was divisive at all. I was home at night. It was like 11 o'clock at night. And I was like, man, I really want to fucking tattoo right now. Like, I've already tattooed I got no space to just fucking do some shit on myself. So I was like, man, I really want to tattoo right now. At any point I can paint. Like, that's how I make my living a lot of the time too, is I paint on the side, as a secondary occupation. But I was like, I want a tattoo. I could pick up a canvas at any time and paintbrushes. It could be fucking 4 o'clock in the morning. I could feel inspired to do some art. And we require a human at every given point to try a new thing, to practice a new skill set, to see how a tool's going to work, to see if the colors are going to hold up. There's got to be a human extension to that. Every day is practice for an artist, unless you decide, if you were trying to grow, if you've like hit a thing where you're like, this is all I'm ever going to do is a fucking this type of rose because I've dialed it in and that's all I'm ever going to do and I'm never going to do anything different. Maybe don't have to practice because you did all the practice along the way, but you practice at some point. At some point, there's a shitty fucking rose at the beginning of that fucking story. And now there's probably a cool rose. And then you got so comfortable and afraid to try something new because the rose worked that you stopped practicing. We're always practice every day. If you're showing up as an artist, every day is practice to get better. That's why we show up to educational events. Yeah. That's like, it's all practice all the time, like constantly learning and growing, unless you decide you don't want to grow anymore.
Yeah. That's one thing about this podcast, man, that like as over time, and talking to more people, like it's opened my mind up to a lot of things that in the beginning I was maybe a little bit more closed about or a little bit more like rigid on. And then I'm like, oh man, I'm listening to more perspectives and more points of views. And I think without having these conversations, I think I would still be a lot more close-minded, than I am today.
One of the things I'll say in some of my seminars is, I'm looking out this room and there's 100 people, that paid for a ticket to be in this thing. And most likely they didn't pay because they wanted to hear me speak because there was like 6 other badasses they probably came for. And I know that, but I'll tell them, you know what, like we know that a lot of you had somebody in your studio that told you not to waste your money on this. Yeah. There was somebody there who was like, you're just getting ripped off. You're not going to learn anything. You're an idiot. Right. And that's what every single one of those people is up against. Right. Yeah. And it has something to do with the reason that you've been resistant to these types of things. Right. There's some voice in your head, some person that told you along the way that that wasn't the way to do it, but I think when you're actually there in these environments, you'll see that the type of people who will make that investment and go to an educational conference are a lot of fun to be around, and they make you excited about tattooing, and they especially make you excited about already being at a point where you know something about tattooing. Because they're going to be looking to you for portfolio critiques. They're going to be like, I've had people, just 10 people in a line, at the after hours party while I'm trying to enjoy conversations and drinks and all those things. They're also just standing there patiently waiting for their chance to see if I'll critique their portfolio. Right.
Yeah.
It's a totally different environment.
Dude, or just the fact that you and I can hang out one night at a table, sharing a beer and a sketchbook. Like, dude, what's it going to be like if I draw with you? And what's that look like? What can you learn from me? What am I going to learn from you? To have that opportunity with people who want that also, like the thing I don't like about conventions are very much like, look at me. And those educational events are very much like, I want to listen to you.
Yeah.
There's a whole different thing, right? Like, I'm just here to listen. That's all. Like, I want to be a spectator. I want to be a fly on the wall of all these people that might have wisdom I don't have.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Yep.
I think we should wrap that one up with that.
Man, that's good, but I got a question. I got something.
All right, go for it.
I know you want to wrap it up. I got something.
He's tired.
I know. But I got something about Tattoo Smart.
All right.
Tattoo Smart. Tattoo Smart, has got some amazing tools. And I think they've helped a lot of tattooers, and it's helped my workflow in a lot of ways. So recently I posted like a little video of like my workflow for doing a specific cover up. I used some Tattoo Smart stamps. I used like some skull references, like one of those 3D skulls that you can move around and create it or whatever, and I posted it, whatever. And tattoo, I really like the tattoo. That's why I shared it with everybody. I thought it was cool. And then I had 3 guys. One of them was like, this guy didn't even draw a fucking thing. Look at this, and somebody else, it was just like, that was like their ultimate thing of like, look at this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, dude. And then I'm like, dude, you do traditional tattoos, all your traditional roses, and every tattoo looked like every traditional rose that I've ever seen, dude. I'm like, what's any difference of me using a really cool, simple rose? I just needed a rose. Eventually, it's literally just an outline. I made everything else to how to render this rose, and I changed a little bit and simplified it to work with my style and my tattoo. What's any difference, And the guy couldn't really respond back to it, because he felt like, ugh, like he just said it, like something that kind of counteracts that. But what do you have to say to people that have that kind of, mind frame? Because I think that Tattoo Smart and the tools that come with it are just that. They're tools, and you can use them in any way or shape or form that you feel can benefit your work and your style.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what any tool is for, right?
I
look at it like, if there's a tool that can save me a little bit of time and effort in the process, as an artist, as a craftsman, I'm going to go out and take that extra time that was saved and put it towards something that a tool couldn't do. Right?
Absolutely.
So it doesn't mean that I'm going to cheat and take the easy way out and just do less work. It means that I'm going to conserve energy on parts of the process and do more work in others because I want to, because I enjoy it, because it brings me joy. Right. So I think the argument against any tool, it essentially comes down to a kind of just a disagreement on whether it's right or wrong to use it, right? Because of course, there's times in an artist, a tattooer's development that a lot of people believe they should be, doing things the hard way, right? And I can get behind that, right? It would be a good idea to not only draw on your iPad, right? It would be a good idea to learn to use other tools, and I certainly learned that way. But I got to a place where the iPad was going to allow me to save a whole lot of time and get further along down the path towards, at first I realized, I needed more than just a line drawing to be very successful in the tattoo. I needed a value study. I needed to figure out where all the blacks go, where all the grays go, and make sure all my values were right.
Yeah.
And so I started, before the iPad, before digital, I was doing that in my sketchbooks, and I was preaching that at seminars. I was saying, guys, you need to do more than a line drawing. You need to at least do a value study so that you know. And once I went digital, I could do not just the value study, but in 5 or 10 more minutes now, because I know what I'm doing, I can add a full color study. And that full color study that I do gives me individual control of every single color in the entire tattoo that I can move around infinitely by just moving sliders around. So when my client gets there and they think, I'm not sure I like the color of that flower, it's nothing for me to just choose that layer and move a slider until we find a color they do like. And that's a level of experience that people that don't use digitals, their clients just aren't getting that. They're just going to run the risk that they're going to like what happens that's permanent on their skin.
Yes. There's many times where I've been able to make like on the fly changes for somebody and they're like, wow, these tools you guys have nowadays, that's incredible. Like They're just like, their minds are blown that you can just make changes on the fly. And they're like, oh, wow, you don't have to redraw this whole thing for another hour. Like, this is fucking wild. And I'm like, yeah, man, it's actually great. It saves me a lot of time, a lot of headache. And most of all, it gets my clients to be happy with what they're getting and they feel involved, and that at no point do I feel like I have to fight with them and agree, and push them to be on what I'm trying to do. And we get to create something together that is like something of like my vision, but most of all, their vision of what they want to get as a tattoo. And I think that's great.
I think it's also a separation that people forget is there's the job of tattooing if it's a job, right?
Yeah.
And like you said, I need to ease it to like as being an artist, I am a guy with a sketchbook who will redraw. Still to this day, I have paper and pencil and I redraw over and over because that's how I believe you learn the skill set. So with the iPad, it gives you the ease of access of reverse buttons and, making all the tweaks. I'm going to learn the hard way guy. I'm fucking dumb, sometimes.
We're still really good friends.
We have completely different. Yeah. We're completely different. That's the beauty. If you can accept the fact that like, dude, that's cool. Cause we have so many other fucking shit that we do agree on. But with that said, like, the artist is always like, if you're going to be like a traditional artist or whatever, and your whole gig is like, dude, I just want to learn how to repetitively draw a rose over and over and snakes. Like because my friend Kevin Stress, man, like that dude put out a book of 365 days of fucking snakes, literally drew a snake every goddamn day. By 365, I swear that I felt so bad for him. Like if I never have to draw a fucking snake again, like, but he can draw a snake doing anything. Russ has a goddamn brush that was like, I'm like, man, you could have saved yourself on that goddamn book, bro. Like, he's all like, I could have just done, But there's a difference.
It would have been a really ugly snake.
Yeah, but there's going to be the difference between the kid who needs to give his client a good tattoo and will never take the time to learn to draw that snake, and the artist that wants to draw the snake. The difference is where their values lie, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's so funny. You have these kids that show up at man, I can't wait to be fucking super successful and famous and do all this stuff. You're going to do the fucking 90 hours of work a day to get there? No. And every kid, like I've worked at so many shops. It's the reason why people go to conventions. It's the most like-minded group of overachievers usually, like especially the big gun ones. Those are the overachievers of studios, right?
Yeah.
But they make up like one person sitting in the fucking studio alone, hating every fucking like goddamn lazy motherfuckers with goddamn iPads and their fucking like little tools and whatever. And I'm over here doing all the work. Those other kids are just there to show the fuck up, make the thing, get their paycheck, go home, play with their family. They don't want to invest the time. Like that's a big difference. Like, they might value their time more than you value your time. You value art. They value time. Like, where do your values lie?
I think like a lot of the sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
I want to cover this. The objection that we mostly see is to the line art flash stamps, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's, because other things we make like natural media brushes that replicate, spit shading, for example, right? You still feel like you're making something when you use that. And our 3D model humans, are a tool to look at how your composition is going to work on the body. And it feels like magic once you understand how it works.
Absolutely.
But most of our products are flash stamps because that's where the opportunity is to even create products, right? Like I can't make too many more of those other types of products. There's not really any more ideas.
Yeah.
You know, so as Tattoo Smart continues, and has continued, you know, it's been a lot of fun to work with artists around the world who, you know, are experts in a specific subject matter or groups of subject matters and a style, right? So I'm out there, you know, I've had so much fun getting to work with all these artists and coming up with these packages and these ideas and being a part of that process and saying like, hey, like, what are the subject matter that you like to tattoo? You know, that you like to tattoo. I really love your work. I know that you like, you know, for example, in Matt's case, I know you like neotrad birds. What are all the birds that make sense in neotrad? So we have these conversations and we just make a list, you know, so it's like eagle, hawk, falcon, raven, crow. Are they the same thing? We're not sure. And then, you know, we get it down to this list and then we kind of edit some things out and we're like, nah, I don't know about those. And then we're also saying, well, how many of those would you do? He's like, oh, there's like maybe 3 or 4 poses that I probably want to cover, you know? So we build these sets out and then the artist goes off and does all the work and I just get to watch all this great art roll in, and then we get to package it up and put it out there. And the reason that it matters is because we need Tattoo Flash.
Yes.
Yeah.
To
That's
keep
what it is. It's
existing.
Flash.
And it had died.
Yeah.
You know, it had totally died and had been replaced by the internet, Google, Pinterest, and all that. And we weren't allowed to trace the work of other artists because we don't do that, right? Because someone's doing that for a custom tattoo. And so we need Tattoo Flash to keep existing, and we need people to keep being motivated to create it.
Yeah.
And I think what we're seeing is a resurgence of Tattoo Flash right now, but it's taking on a different idea where it's like not repeatable. Like people are just putting out examples of what they'd like to do, and once they do it, I think a lot of cases they're like, I'm done with that one. I don't want to do it anymore. And so it's kind of going through a transition. But the idea is, look, when someone is in their formative stages of learning any subject matter or style, they need reference. And if they don't have a source that has some sort of authority to say that this reference here is a good reference, it was sourced from an appropriate source, they end up just going on Pinterest and typing in the keyword, and they see 3 or 4 things that show up. And maybe there's those like those koi fish that have eyelashes, you know, like people used to draw in the 90s, and they're like, and that's what they do, right?
Yeah.
And we can't really have that. That's not good for the client. That's not good for the tattooer who did the eyelashes on the koi fish. It's not good for anybody.
No.
Right. So that's what's on my mind as we're continuing to build out this library. It's like, this is the first expansive library of digital designs in this format that currently work in Procreate only, but in some other future, maybe we have built something that can integrate with whatever tools people are using in the future.
Agree. Well, shit. Thank you so much, guys. I think one thing I'd like to ask you guys, what would be one piece of advice that you would want to give to a tattooer starting out nowadays?
Starting out right now?
Yeah.
You know, I think you want to be diverse in the types of projects and the types of subject matter that you try to take on. And one of the things that I've seen in the apprentices that I've had that brought me a lot of concern in this more modern era is that they found their niche and they found their style very early. And because they were also simultaneously good at social media, they ended up getting really busy doing that niche in that style without ever having to live through 3 to 5 years of suck, you know, where there wasn't anyone who wanted to get tattooed by them, where they had to do the street shop thing. They had to figure out how to make whoever came into their studio happy. And I did that, you know, I got to try every single style of tattooing and I got to really explore them. So by the time I found my style, it was a combination of those skills. And that's why I still feel like I can do any style. If I do want to ever go on Ink Master, I probably will be okay.
Yeah.
You know, because I've done it. And I worry about how, you know, like Gunnar will tell you, like he did tell you, you know, he was at the peak of his career. I was at the peak of my career and that peak happened and now it's over, you know, so you're somewhere down on the other side of that mountain and you're looking back up and wondering what happened, you know, and when did it actually happen? And so being able to switch to a different style and do that without having to go back and relearn all those techniques, I think would be a good thing for anybody to have longevity.
Absolutely.
Yeah, smart.
There's going to be a lot of people just like who are going to, because of the rise. Like I grew up, like came up in a period of time where the rise lasted because you could disappear for a few months, make some new art, put it in the magazines. They were still marketing for you while you were disappeared and creating, and then come back and do it again, And so you could have some time off, right? You take off time now and you're fucking you disappear.
Oh man, you don't post on Instagram for like 2 days in a row.
You're a ghost.
You're punished.
Yeah.
You're a ghost. And so knowing what that's like having done that and knowing what it's like, there's going to be a bunch of people who like their egos have been here. They're going to have a massive ego death soon. There's going to be a bunch of artists that suffer some massive ego death soon. Like a lot of artists that are going to suffer some massive ego death through evolving times because they didn't learn skill sets to evolve through this. Like he's absolutely correct. Like I'm like, that's the first thing I'd be like, learn how to do fucking black and gray line work, solid traditional tattooing, learn the techniques so that you have a fucking bag of tricks up your sleeve at any given moment. So that should the fucking tides change, you know how to go flow with the new tide, right? Like that's massive.
It takes mentors to kind of tell people to do that and hold them accountable to it. And I'm telling you, I wasn't able to do it in a few different cases, and I regret that.
Yeah.
But when I have the opportunity now, I'm definitely making sure that a skill set in multiple styles is established, even when I know that this person already has their niche figured out and they're just going to kill it as soon as they figure out the technical side of tattooing.
Yeah.
It's like, man, like slow it down. It's going to come, like you don't have to be known yet, because once you're known, everyone expects a certain thing from you.
Yeah.
And that audience is not going to like the other things
At all.
Yeah.
And the other thing I would say is build a solid home base, because when social media falls apart, should it ever like get to that point, it's easy to go fucking shake someone's hand and introduce yourself and be like a human being, handing another human being an opportunity to like work together in your own hometown. Like I, as a person who travels, I have to create an audience everywhere I go.
Where you go.
All the time, over and over again.
Yeah.
And as I get older and older, it is harder and harder. Like, but I can be personable and I can, adapt to that. Like I have communication skills. That's kind of like helping. But you travel so you can meet new people, gain new ideas, try new, like that matters too. Like, and the beauty of tattooing is you have that. Like, so I'm always big on like build a home base where people can find you. Stay there. I didn't do that. I've always been on the road. And then go on the road and see the world and meet new artists and have new experiences and grow and learn, and then bring it home and share it with your community home. So
That's a beautiful thing.
That's awesome.
Perfect way to put it. Well, guys, thank you guys so much
Sweet.
for joining us today. I think this is like an amazing episode.
Yeah.
You guys gave so much experience, so much information, and we thank you so much for everything you guys have done in the tattoo industry. I think like I'm very appreciative because I've gotten to like reap from it and learn a lot. So thank you guys so much.
no, thank you.
And
And thank you also to the Patreon supporters. We haven't done this in a couple of weeks.
that's true.
If anybody wants to get some extra additional content that doesn't make it into this episode or any of the other episodes, you can head over to patreon.com/honest-tattooer and become a Patreon supporter. This week, we're thanking Abby Watson, Danielle Carroll, and Jason Rhodes, who all joined on recently. So thank you guys very much. There you go. If you want to be like those guys, head over to patreon.com/honest-tattooer.
All right, guys. Thank you guys so much.
Thank
I hope
you.
you guys
Thank
enjoyed
you.
this episode. I definitely did. And we'll see you next time.
All right.
Take care.
Bye.
Peace.
Peace.